I must confess, as a massive Fallout fan who thinks this is like the best IP on Earth, I'm very stunned by today's statistics. I love the Fallout TV show. I've already made that known well and clear. But I didn't know that people liked it this much to see some of the numbers we're going to go over today. The resurgence that Fallout is experiencing, not just from 76, but across the entirety of the franchise. This thing is beloved, and all I'm saying at the front of the video is Xbox, Bethesda, wake up. People need something new. They've needed something new for a while, but it's more apparent than ever that Fallout is beloved, especially when Fallout is good, and it can lead to some pretty great things. But also, foot kind of in my mouth on this one, because I thought Bethesda was a little silly having nothing really ready to go for the Fallout TV show, but they must know the popularity of their IP better than I. I'm sitting here going, you gotta have something announced, something ready to go, at least the next-gen update to synchronize with the release of the TV show. But here we're seeing some pretty impressive numbers, record numbers in the case of Fallout 76, and they're doing this with the next-gen update coming out a couple weeks after the show. The sustained success of Fallout following the TV show in a world where we're constantly in this windmill to the next thing grabbing our attention has been impressive to see nonetheless. So let's talk about it. We also have information today on the Fallout TV show Season 2. So spoiler warning for that. We are going to ruin the finale of the Fallout TV show if you have yet to watch it. But the first half, you're safe. Don't worry. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's start off at the top with the surprising statistics. So this was posted on the Fallout Twitter account. Welcome over 1 million dwellers into Appalachia in a single day. Holy moly. Holy moly indeed. This resurgence has been a sight to behold. Just yesterday, we put up our 2024 review for Fallout 76. This was something I was kind of chipping away at with all of the footage I had stocked up, all of the information I had gathered from testing all the various updates for 76. But going back in on a fresh player, I have to say I enjoyed the game a lot more than I really have in a long while. And what I'm seeing with Skyline Valley, which is the new update expanding the map, I'm not one to dive into the PTS on this game. I'll wait till it comes out for everyone. This looks really good. So I'm hoping that this signals not only a turnaround for the player count for 76, but the content quality. So I don't want to get my hopes up too much, but it looks really good. Anyway, this is a good time, I think, to commend Bethesda on one thing. I hated 76 like all of you, so you already know where I stand on it. Any other company would have abandoned this game. And I think if we have to tip our caps to anything Bethesda's done, it's that they stuck with it. And I know they did some stupid things in the process. They monetized the hell out of this game. They added some pretty low, lackluster content. I'm not saying it was all perfect, but they stuck with it. And you see how it pays off here. Any other live service game would have been abandoned like that. You've seen it happen a dozen times before. But I have to say, kudos to them for sticking with 76. Certainly, I wouldn't have, and I would have greenlit the next Fallout remaster and just be done with this. But they stuck with it, got another developer on board, supported it through the release of Starfield, and we're seeing how it's paying off now. So just kudos to the team at Bethesda. I may not have been the biggest fan of 76, but clearly the vision is there. They said they have a 5-year plan, roadmap ready for this game, and this is the best time for them to be deploying it. So let's hope that it's now reaching its potential, because 76 does have, it's just like co-op Fallout, great potential. The ability to go to different parts of the wasteland and experience new quests and get new loot. Like, that was kind of it. New characters, new allies. Like, you just keep cycling that out in new locations. Bethesda, you're going to be cooking. And I would be the biggest 76 stan if you continue to do that. So let's hope they do. But it's not just Fallout 76 that has done something impressive here. Beneath this tweet, the Fallout Twitter account also said almost 5 million across all Fallout games in a single day. So this is Fallout 1, 2, 3, New Vegas, 4. 4 is seeing a massive player count without the next-gen update. I'm personally waiting for the next-gen update, so I'm very curious to see how this number changes with the next-gen update. I'm also surprised, again, that Bethesda's not doing, like, their whole creation system for Fallout 4 like they did with Skyrim, because I said there's got to be a big player count at least heading for Fallout 4. Across the whole franchise, wasn't expecting that. 76 having a resurgence, was saying that was a possibility, but really wasn't expecting it. But Fallout 4, I'm wondering if they're going to capitalize on this business-wise at some point in time with its new resurgence. We'll see with new content to come. But 5 million players across all of the franchise is really exciting to see, because what I view this as is a flare being shot up straight into the sky, saying to Xbox and Bethesda all the way across the coast, hey, please do something new with the IP. Look, Fallout's got a lot more support than the sister series Elder Scrolls. There's no denying that whatsoever. And Elder Scrolls fans, I'm sorry, because I'm going to sound like a greedy little Fallout fan here. But with Fallout's success, continuously. Not only the resurgence of 76 and the way they hung with it, where business-wise, I guess it had to be making enough money. We know that they considered shutting it down at one point, but then they put it on PlayStation Plus, and it ended up seeing a resurgence there. But it had to be making some sort of money to justify existing after a pretty tragic launch. But the TV show, the resurgence of the games, there is something here that if you are Xbox, by the way, look at this from the platform holder's point of view. You have something that you can build your brand around. Like, I think if you're Xbox and you're looking at this and the popularity and the conversation, not just because it's positive, but even when it's negative, look at 76, like, people care about Fallout, good and bad, continuously. And it did so well here that the show has propelled people to pick up all these different Fallout games without any sort of new content. That's a testament to the brand's strength. I don't know if it was the brightest idea. Like, if you had a Fallout 3 remaster announced, the pre-orders would have shot up. Like, there's a number of ways I think they could have capitalized on it, having creations ready for Fallout 4. Like, if you're a business, there's just other ways I think the Fallout IP could have capitalized on this hype train. Maybe they didn't want to overcommit too hard. But if you're Xbox, you're looking at the future of your generation, exclusive or not. This is a brand you build around. This is a brand that's front and center on the console box. When you see the console box in that glass case at like Best Buy or Walmart or Target, Fallout ought to be front and center. Like, that is your brand. I know you bought Bethesda, but that's like your brand now, and you would be silly to not build upon this at all. Whether it's remasters or more regular releases, I think the reality is for both Elder Scrolls and Fallout, might I add, that you can't just sit here and let these be dormant for generations. These are business-wise moneymakers, but as fans, as consumers, these are things we love. These are things we want to see more often. Now, I do commend Bethesda for the stayed hand in not milking this thing dry. I've seen franchises flip the switch and you get sick of it. I look at Assassin's Creed, where it saw a bit of a resurgence when they eased up on the annual releases, and then people were able to go back and reappreciate those older Assassin's Creed titles that I actually think were pretty good, but at the time I was so sick of seeing Assassin's Creed so often that I just wasn't enjoying them as I should have. Like, Syndicate's a great example. It was at the peak of Assassin's Creed Burnout, and it's a great video game. I know some of you already appreciated, but I would say that I was harsh on that game compared to what I feel about it now. It's actually a really awesome one. So I think there is a balance here to strike where Bethesda doesn't need to go all in, milk Fallout dry, books, comics, movies, TV shows, anime. I mean, look, I wouldn't complain, but I don't know if we need to go all in. I think you can have a careful, steady hand while working some more deals to get regularity out of this franchise. There's no reason why Fallout isn't big enough at this point to be doing spin-off titles. I do have an idea for a Fallout game. I do want to pitch it one day. Bethesda, you have my contact, but do know I'll be contacting them at some point in time to present that idea, because I think it's really cool. But there's no reason why I think that Bethesda couldn't be doing, hey, some spin-off games here or there. Like a classic style Fallout game by inXile is one of my favorite ideas, right? You think of the Wasteland engine, it's just sitting there, all the assets are sitting there. Make a classic Fallout game like 1 and 2 in the spirit of Wasteland as well, and put it out there. There's no reason why we can't get fun, like a Nuka-Cola arcade game. There's no reason why we can't get all of these little things for the Fallout franchise. I don't know why we're not really getting books. I think that would be a great opportunity for the Fallout franchise, but really I'm focusing on games here. I think with a touch more regularity, like, hey, you're going to at least get 1 new Fallout game per generation, maybe 2. To think there was a time where, like, Uncharted, we got a whole trilogy of games in a single generation. You just don't see that nowadays. And I get it, it's a lot to balance, but Bethesda needs help, and we need to find a way to massage this sort of relationship to get more out the door. And there's a more immediate solution that we've talked about many times here. Fallout 3, New Vegas. Modernize Fallout 1 and 2. I got friends who watched the video we did on Retro Rebound on Fallout 1, wanting to try out Fallout, but it's tough to play nowadays, and I get it. I love Fallout, so I push through, but the pixel hunting, the controls, some of the dialogue for some people, finding out where you need to go, I get all of that. I think some of it's part of the charm of the game, but people want to play these games, connect with the franchise further, and there's stuff that's already made that admittedly you have to dig up and do work on, but there's stuff that's already made, waiting, and ready for you to do before you make something new, which will cost you less manpower-wise, will cost you less money-wise, and there's ideas that just spell themselves out, like Fallout 4 shooting and Fallout 3 New Vegas. That would sell millions of people on the game on its own. Putting sprinting in the game would sell millions of people on its own. Like, your bar, as I've said for many videos with these remasters, these remake style games, is this low. Like, it is so low, you just have to resell the game to get over it, let alone adding a couple of things. Console mods would be a real treat. I'm just saying that I think the bar is incredibly low to get this thing rolling here, that it doesn't take much of a nudge to get the snowball building going downhill. So I hope that from the success of the TV show across to the games, that they don't just go, hey, this is great, look how popular Fallout is, but do something about it, man. Even Magic the Gathering is building off of this thing. Magic the Gathering said that their Fallout decks are some of the best selling ever. And look, I played a little bit of Magic in my day, particularly Arena Online. I ordered these because I love Fallout. Like, Fallout fans just buy Fallout stuff. So that's enough from me on that. Fallout's doing really well. I could stop the video here, but we got more to talk about with the Fallout TV show runners, where this comes from Eurogamer saying the season 2 location doesn't need to follow a canon ending. Again, I'm gonna just draw a spoiler line here in case you ignored me at the beginning of the video and you haven't watched the Fallout TV show. Please don't watch on. Please, if you haven't finished the Fallout TV show, go finish it and then come finish this video. But anyway, spoiler mode is on for the Fallout TV show and naturally other Fallout games because of what happens in the TV show. All right, let's do this. Joking, it would sure be strange if we went off to New York City after that teaser where naturally we saw New Vegas. Wagner said the team wanted the audience to know that things have happened to New Vegas since the events of New Vegas, the game which canonically were 15 years prior to the show. Wagner said that this was to make sure it isn't an expectation that we pick season 2 up following one of the myriad of canon endings that depends on your choices when you play Fallout New Vegas. The showrunner said the Fallout crew really wanted to imply, guys, the world has progressed, and the idea that the wasteland stays as it is decade to decade is preposterous to us. Wagner called it a place of constant tragedy, events, horrors, where the constant churn of trauma is really going on. We're definitely implying more has occurred, Wagner concluded. The duo implied that we would see more flashbacks in Season 2 of Fallout, and that we may not have yet the full story of what happened, even if things may have been implied, specifically highlighting that meeting between Vault-Tec executives and various other corporation heads and CEOs, including Mr. House, the ruler of New Vegas and Fallout New Vegas. Wagner said the team certainly intend to expand upon that and those characters. So what's really interesting about this is they're saying on one hand, if I'm interpreting it right, that they don't really want to pick a complete canonical ending for Fallout New Vegas, but at the same time, they plan to expand on characters in the pre-war. Now, one of the problems that, if you would, does exist right now in the Fallout TV show versus New Vegas is in the game Fallout New Vegas, Mr. House does mention he was aware of the Great War coming and began preparing. Meanwhile, you see him at the meeting here where Vault-Tec is suggesting they are going to drop the bombs. This is important to note because what this means is that it kind of contradicts the knowledge that Robert House had at the time, unless he was just playing Vault-Tec for fools and was scheming all along. But also, if you plan to expand on naturally that particular relationship, which is the most natural one, given you showed New Vegas, you showed him in the show, you see the Vault-Tec relationship, you see it all there. I think a season 2 about the platinum chip and how Robert House was just a bit too late would make a ton of sense. But to show that wasteland in the current day in the timeline of Fallout the TV show, you kind of need, I think, to decide on what happened in New Vegas. From what I understood, all of the endings don't really suggest complete anarchy. The Yes Man one does. Legion naturally is anarchy. You think about some of those endings, like it ends in destruction, but there's one in the Mr. House ending, which I don't think would be respected, in where he kind of keeps law and order and you push back the NCR, you push back the Legion. What they seem to be suggesting here is that whoever won the Battle of Hoover Dam doesn't necessarily matter and that more had happened afterwards. We do see the Pridwin in the Fallout TV show, originally called the Caswinin in pre-launch coverage for the TV show, but now has been corrected because you can see it's called the Pridwin in the show. And so maybe there's a theory of making Fallout 4's ending canon. I saw The Gamer actually recommended this idea on their website. So what happens if, say, Fallout 4's canon ending is the Brotherhood of Steel ending and they for some reason came over the West Coast and wanted to control the tech in the Strip, and maybe the Strip resisted, so they destroyed it. I don't know. This seems like a little bit of a far stretch, but maybe they don't pick a canon ending for New Vegas and focus more on BGS. If they don't pick an ending for New Vegas, I do find that to be a little disappointing because that was one of the reasons I was excited. Is like, oh, what direction are they going to go in? How are they going to build up the West Coast of Fallout beyond what happened in New Vegas? So I'm curious what they're going to do here. Maybe my theory's right, or it could be completely off. So I think especially if you're going to expand on these characters, you kind of need to make a pick as far as I'm concerned. So we'll see what they do. They also mentioned here that as for whether or not it was indeed Vault-Tec that dropped the first bomb, something that again was heavily implied in the first season, Wagner says there is more story to tell there. I would not treat anything as definitive because, again, everything that we see is very subjective. That scene occurred, but what occurs between then and the actual bombs falling, there's more exciting stuff planned between that moment and the last moment, I guess I should say. Yeah, it might be definitive, it might not be. Robertson Dware added. I have to say, I kind of like the idea of Vault-Tec firing off the first nuke or doing something to kind of get the ball rolling where China fires off the first nuke. I think there's a way they can maintain what Tim Kaine and the original creators of Fallout said, which is China took the first shot, while at the same time making Vault-Tec almost be the ones pulling the trigger or incentivizing this ever happening. I'm really keen to see what they do with that, but seeing more pre-war segments is exciting because for me, again, I think the biggest missed opportunity in the franchise is the pre-war segments. I think they could do some really special stuff there, and the Fallout TV show signifies exactly why. But knowing about how they're planning to do things with New Vegas has me very interested. I'm not going to freak out or anything. As many people know, I'm currently in the trusting phase. Like, you guys do what you want to do. You earned my trust with a phenomenal season 1, and I'll kind of evaluate when we get to season 2 and we can take a peek at the Fallout TV show then and see how they're planning to continue things moving forward. The question really is, what ending, if any, are they going to build off of? And if Robert House is going to be a big part of season 2, I feel like it's natural that Hank McClane would be looking for Robert House here in New Vegas to try and do something with this strip to fight back. Who knows what his plan is? That's the other big question mark with the series, but they left us with some really tantalizing question marks, so we can speculate to our heart's content, but unfortunately we're gonna have to wait a couple of years to figure out what's going on. So until then, I'll see you in the next video. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you next time. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.